Hello again, everybody. I'm Dean O'Neill.
I'm Nick Robinson.
And I'm Will Speaker.
Gentlemen, 2 weeks before Christmas, start the countdown. We are starting our second week of our daily path. I think the first week went relatively smooth.
I think so. Got some good reviews.
Yeah.
Right? Had kind of a faux pas there on the fifth day, and that's my fault, everybody, but I think we're back on track. Nick, what do you have in store for us this week, and kind of start us out that way?
Yeah, this Sunday, today, as you hear this, we're talking about family members and the role of family in who we are. We've been leading up to this through the readings of the last few days in our daily readings series, as we've read about some of Jesus's forebearers, his people in his lineage, his genealogy, and we've noticed a few things about them already. They're not all perfect people. Some of them are really loyal. Haven't all had perfect lives. They've experienced some real hardship and stayed faithful and loyal through some of that. And God made promises to some of them, and all of that is culminating and accumulating into this person of Jesus, which is the whole point of this Sunday sermon and the whole point of this series, is to see how these pieces inform our expectations of Jesus and who he is. I want us to answer a Christmas question today. What is your longest standing Christmas tradition in your family?
I'll start off. Mine is ever changing right now. So we don't have a specific day that we meet anymore. We just try to plan year for year and see what's going on. I am a triplet, so I have two other brothers that are my same age, and that's it. But we are adults, and we have significant others, and one of us has a baby. So there's a lot of things that are just shifting as we find our footing with our extended family, our new families that we're going to be joined with hopefully soon, and the blessings that have been given us throughout this year. So ours is ever changing, but it's a good ever changing to kind of expand. Maybe make our own holiday traditions a little bit too.
Yeah, so there's a chance to be innovative, creative, and establish new patterns that work for this new place in life that your family is at.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Dean, do you have any long-standing traditions?
Sure. Well, first of all, when I was a kid, it's no longer. We all got new pajamas on Christmas Eve, like everybody else, and so that was.
Were they matching?
No, they just were. Hey, it's time for new pajamas. Throw those old ones away, or you want. When it's Christmas because all of a sudden your mom didn't. You don't have the same pajamas. But another Christmas tradition that is more up to date is we try to open a present on Christmas Eve after church.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives the kids a little taste, a little nugget, just to keep them up all night, ready for the morning. So yeah, that's it. Traditions are good, and I think that in the now that I see them, and I'm an adult now, it gives everybody a chance to just take a breath and say, hey, listen, let's get the next 24 hours and just be together and be a family, and traditions are good.
Yeah. I think in my family, there's a couple ways for me to think about this question. One of the longest standing traditions in my family is we get together, and when we open presents, we always have a wrapping paper fight. It's not like we don't line up and on your marks, get set, go, but you open a present, you keep some wrapping paper near you, you crumble it into a ball, and you got to be ready to throw. And you can't let your guard down because somebody's getting ready to throw at you.
So instead of throwing at a trash bag or trash can, it's at each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Very loving, very kind.
Very competitive.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's trying to be sneaky. It's trying to, land a blow on somebody. I think there's other traditions that we have since 1998. I've always been going to church on Christmas Eve. That's a tradition. Mm-hmm. Some of those years I was there as a teenager, some as an adult, some as a paid professional.
Yeah.
Every year we put up a Christmas tree. And since for Elena and my entire marriage, we put up the same Christmas tree because I bought it to decorate my house the day I proposed to her. So I was decorating this Christmas tree so it'd be set up for our proposal. That tree is all the lights have. It was like the lights were pre-built in, and they have all failed. And so we have new. Elena has put new lights on it, but that same tree, obviously a fake tree. And so there's all these little traditions, and it's weird because I don't think of us being a traditions family, but there are all these little things that add up, and so many of them have to do with the people that we do them with. Like, Will, you're talking about your traditions and how they're changing right now, but they all involve people.
Yes.
The people are the reason that they're changing. And Dean, you talk about the kids opening presents. I mean,
Right,
it's
right.
it's the people who make this possible.
Sure.
How does being with people help you all understand this season of Christmas? How does it shape your experience or your understanding?
Well, I think it is just about, like Dean kind of mentioned, just having that breath, having
Yeah.
that time together. It's a busy season, but at the same time, those small moments when you're just together and you're experiencing the joy and we're anticipating it. We're anticipating waiting, and it kind of mirrors, as I hope, the joy that Mary and Joseph might have felt when they were finally together as a family, even though it wasn't in a way that they expected, they in a manger or anything like that. But it kind of mirrors our, like, we want to get together, we want to see these people, we want to have this joy and this time together, and I think that's just so important to have.
And again, I will, I'll expand on what I said. I think that it is important to have people around you, and Christmas is the time, I feel like, to do that, because it's towards the end of the year, and this is not even the religious ramifications of it. I mean, we do want to remember the birth of Jesus and how that all started and the story behind that. But it's just tradition. It's like, stop. Let's just do some tradition here for a little bit and let's do it. There have been many times where I was working on Christmas Eve or something like that, and that's just the way it is. And my kids were resilient. I mean, they understood what I had to do and everything like that. But it was just, it was, and even when I was working, I could know what's going on, at home and stuff like that. And even when I wasn't with my kids on Christmas Eve, which was a lot, I just knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's just a good time. It's just a good time. And it should be a good time.
Well, and
Sorry.
whenever I think about the people who are present, I also start thinking about the people who aren't there anymore. The people who have been part of our traditions and part of shaping our identities, who have moved away or passed on, who have died and can't be there, or who have, because of the limitations of time and space, can't be there. For a long time, we always celebrated Christmas Eve at my dad's house. He was my only living grandparent for most of my life, for most of my life, where I had a grandparent who was alive. And so we would go there on Christmas Eve, and then when he passed, everything was just different because we couldn't celebrate at his house.
Right. Right.
And so as we think about the warm and fuzzy feelings of Christmas, I want us to also just not to be afraid to notice the sadness.
Yeah.
To like mourn who's not there and to say their name. I know this year there's going to be people that we're missing in my family. And at church, we're going to really honor that on December 21st. We're going to have a longest night service. And that's the service you come to if you're not feeling the rah-rah of Christmas. If you're going through divorce or illness or grief or depression or any of those things, it's a place to sit down and acknowledge those feelings, and just not necessarily embrace them, but just acknowledge them.
Yeah. And thinking back to like traditions or other times, and I was working at a place where there was kids during Christmas, and I worked Christmas Day, and they weren't able to go home or they weren't able to be with parents, but and so just having that kind of had a new reality of others people's what they go through during Christmas to me, and not just loss but separation in any form or different way, which really is a struggle that we all might go through at times. And so just taking these moments to be grateful and thankful for the experiences that we have with those that we still have is a great thing.
You know, we mark our time by events. That's just the way it is. And if something bad happened on Christmas, then you're going to remember that. You're going to try not to remember, but you are. Let me tell you. You say you proposed to your wife on Christmas Eve? Or
Well, no. On December 7th. So
December 7th. I was
put
gonna say.
the tree up on December 7th.
Okay, good job,
So,
man. I was going to say that took guts if you did it on Christmas, because what if she'd have said no? Then
Oh
you
no!
would've-
I knew she was saying yes. She had been wanting me to ask her to marry me for months by
Good,
that time, because
good,
I'm
good.
quite a catch.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So why did we even think that anything would happen? Man? Come on. But we do. We mark our time by events. Everybody knows where they were at certain events in their lives and stuff like that. So I think that if Christmas is just a regular day that you don't remember, I mean, it all kind of culminates together. I think that's a good thing. You know. But there are people out there, I'm sure, that have memories that they would much rather forget.
Yeah, and it's these moments intensify our emotions. You know, if we lose someone, we're grieving all the time. We're missing them all the time. But then the holiday rolls around, and it feels different.
Right.
You know, if you're going through a divorce, or if someone's incarcerated, all those things are unfolding all the time. But then the holiday kind of heightens it.
Yeah.
I was at, and I'm not trying to bring the conversation down, but this is how events, you know, shape our lives, and we remember. I was in New York 2-3 days after 9/11, and then I did a good 2 weeks there, and then I came home, and every year after that, and I'm not afraid to admit there was probably some PTSD stuff going on there, but every time I saw, you know, that was the news for a year, and so you saw the planes hit the building and everything. The smell would come back from New York every time I'd see it and stuff. So that's how events shape our lives, and that's how events, you know, look at it. So getting back to the positive thing is Christmas is a positive time, so that's what you remember.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to keep thinking about how these people who are a part of our lives shape us. Like, we are not an island. We are not self-sufficient computers that are emotionless and completely create our own identity out of nothing. We inherit this raw material from our parents, our grandparents, from the people who might not be parents, who have invested in our lives, and we're constantly shaping this identity. And one of the people that shapes our identity is Christ. And so we are part of Jesus' family tree, even though we're not biologically related to him.
Yep.
It's through him that we are adopted into this greater family. And so we have this other voice speaking to who we are. And so I think this season is a great time to listen to that voice.
Good place to stop.
Good place to stop.
All right, let's give us a prayer, and we'll move on.
God, we thank you for the people in our lives, for those who have shaped us positively. We even give you this cautious thanks for people who have failed us, who we need to practice forgiveness and mercy towards. Help us to find our identity and to find it in this person of Jesus. Help us through the season, as we answer this question, what child is this, to know who he is better, so we know how he influences us better. We ask all this in his name. Amen.
Amen. For Will Speaker and Nick Robinson, this has been The Daily Path.